twisted minds unique.
Hey all you slashaholics, welcome back to our spooky, ooky, bloody channel. Right here on the tube of you. I am Slash Sister Jen.
And that makes me Slash Sister Holly, and if you're new here, make sure you slash that subscribe button.
Yeah, do it.
Because we've been doing this for a while, and we drop new content weekly.
Every week.
And sometimes twice a week.
And sometimes 3 times a week when we get into spooky season.
It just depends.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're constantly dropping new content, so make sure you slash that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on everything we're doing.
It has been said that you can't keep a good killer down. And apparently you can't keep him out of New York either.
Yeah.
From the foggy waters of Crystal Lake to the filthy alleys of the 80s Manhattan, and really tail end of the 80s. This came out in 89, so this is when things were like really grungy. Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, asks the age-old question, what if a summer cruise turned into a slasher sequel with questionable geography?
And even more questionable filming locations, with Vancouver subbing out for the actual Big Apple itself for the vast majority of the scenes.
Yep.
We
do get to go to the Big Apple for some of it.
Right. They do shoot in Times Square, and then there is that stock footage of like the Twin Towers before they were taken down.
Right.
And stuff like that, Brooklyn Bridge and shit like that. The iconic locations, obviously, Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. But it's like stock footage that you can get virtually
anywhere.
See
it all the time.
Right. Well, at least back then for like this era of film.
For sure.
You would have seen it. For sure. Right.
Today we're diving into toxic waste. Yeah, baby. Teleporting killers, because let's face it, he's been teleporting a lot before, but he
literally teleports in this one. Like,
I mean, at one point he teleports to the top of a fucking
crow's nest.
Yes.
It's literally, the guy was climbing a crow's nest, and he gets up there within...
And then Jason's just there.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. But one of the most bizarre entries into the Friday 13th franchise, honestly. So, buckle up, because Jason's got a boat, and somehow a Metro card.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. While aboard a houseboat on Crystal Lake, teenager Jim tells his girlfriend Susie the legend of Jason Voorhees.
There was this boy named Jason Voorhees.
Before playing a prank on her with a hockey mask, not just similar to what Jason had, but fucking identical, axe mark and all.
Yep.
The axe mark was put into the hockey mask at the end of 3 when Jason got the hockey mask.
Right.
Why is it on this mask? It's a brand new mask. It's not Jason's mask. He's never worn it.
Like, you wouldn't go this... Jason Voorhees is a legend? Maybe?
But you wouldn't recreate the mask.
Maybe. As, like, a local legend.
They
like
recreated the mask.
Costume.
Maybe.
That's the only
logical explanation, but they never touch on it. I am going to chalk it up to poor planning on the prop department.
Yeah.
Or costume department, because it is technically both a costume
continuity
and a prop.
issues.
Right.
For sure.
Continuity issues, go more. But Jim attacks his girlfriend with the hockey mask and a fake prop knife.
Yeah. The boat's anchor is dragging along and damages some underwater cables that are electrocuted.
Happen to be laying under Jason's body.
And they shock Jason's corpse, who is seemingly killed in the previous film, but it revives him. He sneaks on board and takes the mask on his ugly, gross face and kills Jim with a spear gun before impaling Susie.
With the spear.
With the spear, yeah.
Because he missed her the first time.
Because he uses the entire gun on Jim.
Right. So he fires the, spear, harpoon thing, whatever, misses them completely.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know why he didn't take the shot when he was on top of her to double kill. Double tap? Whatever. But no, it misses.
It is something that's infamous in this franchise, too.
Well, and that's another thing, too, is, the lack of blood and gore in this franchise,
well,
too.
and because the MPA did not want them to have gore at all.
Nope. In fact, it's often said that we go from this one, which is part 8, to part 9. Jason goes to hell. It's often referred to as we go from the Jason with no blood to the Jason with
no Jason. Yeah.
And we'll get into that one when we get there.
We sure will.
But yeah, he misses them completely, impales Jim with the harpoon gun, grabs the harpoon, tracks the girl down.
Yeah, she's like hiding inside of
the engine room.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect, right? And she doesn't even try to move away.
No, he just
accepts her fate. And he slowly does it.
Yeah,
it's like, you could have fucking moved a little bit, and maybe just got hit.
That scene in the movie Zombie, that Lucio Fulci movie, where the lady's getting her face impaled by a zombie on a stick, and she's got her hands available, and the zombie is pushing her head. She could literally just break the stick or something, but she doesn't. She just lets the zombie impale her face on it.
Old horror movie logic.
Yes.
The next morning, the SS Lazarus, yes, aptly named because of what happens with Jason here, is ready to set sail for New York City because apparently this lake is not landlocked.
Yeah, who knew?
Who knew? I mean, it is in Jersey.
All these years.
It is in Jersey, but still. With a graduating senior class from Lakeview High School, chaperoning by biology teacher Dr. Charles McCulloch? McCulloch?
Yeah, I think so.
And English teacher Colleen Van Dusen. Van Dusen brings McCulloch's niece, Rennie Wickman, along for the trip, despite her aquaphobia.
Yeah, she's afraid of water, yo.
And we find out later why she's afraid of water. But Van Dusen actually was the name of the cabin in Friday the 13th Part 1 that Pamela Voorhees was coming out of when she was confronting Alice at the very end of the film.
Oh,
this is a subtle nod back to the first of that name.
Callback, love that.
Yep.
Jason sneaks on board to this cruise ship.
Because apparently the motherfuckers learned how to swim.
Yep. I mean, I guess it just took having Kane Hodder play him. Because, by the way, this is the first time that you have a returning Jason. The very first time in the whole franchise. So
they
Kane
actually
Hodder a second time.
They actually were going to recast.
Yeah.
And Kane Hodder fought very hard to play him. But he's not playing him in every scene.
Right.
And we'll get into that later.
Yes. So, yeah, apparently he... Okay, so, Jason sneaks on board. He... in, the bowels of the ship, kind of.
It's a boiler room,
yeah,
kind of, right?
Yeah. He kills the rock star wannabe JJ with her own guitar by, smashing it into her... chest, face up, or
right.
I mean,
we don't see it because it's off
again
screen
because we can't see these things.
But we see him swing the guitar, and it looks like it hits a plexiglass plate, and just a blood pack explodes.
Yeah,
which for the time was kind of a cool shot because it's kind of like the victim's POV.
Yeah,
you know, and everything. But yeah, that's what the shot was.
Yep. That night, a young boxer who lost his match to champion Julius is hanging out in the sauna, and Jason comes in and takes one of the sauna rocks and just shoves it through his body.
I also do have another thing that I forgot to point out when Jason gets resurrected or whatever. Where the fuck did the black gloves come from? Because in 6, it was yellow work gloves that he picked up from the grave that Tommy left behind.
Right.
They were rotted off of him in 7, and it was just his hands. And all of a sudden, even before he got resurrected, mind you,
he had gloves on.
Before the electricity revived Jason, he had a black glove that was sticking up out of the boards of the dock. Why? Why, costume department? Why? Actually, I do know why. Budgetary reasons and reducing the amount of prosthetics.
Yeah, I get that.
I get that, but explain where the gloves came from. Show the hands initially, and then explain where the gloves come from.
Yeah.
Anyway. Rennie, who is searching for her pet border collie, Toby, discovers prom queen Tamara Mason and her friend Eva doing
a little bit of nose candy.
Little nose candy.
If we get caught, I could lose my science scholarship and everything. Talking to the prom queen, Eva.
A little bit of devil's dandruff. You know,
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. Droobs. Droobs. We can say droobs.
Yes.
McCulloch nearly catches them moments later, and Tamara, assuming that Rennie has told on them,
Yeah.
throws her ass overboard, believing that she did tell on them.
Apparently, they did not know that she can't swim and has a fear of water. Oops. Oopsie daisy.
Tamara then uses video student Wayne Weber to record McCulloch in a compromising situation with her, but rejects Wayne's advances afterwards. You know, if she would have just accepted his advances even a little bit.
Mm-hmm. They could have gotten him in a lot of trouble. Yep. A lot.
Jason then proceeds to kill Tamara with a shard of broken mirror after she showers.
Yeah.
He
Stars are
actually
pretty good.
he actually like smashes the mirror, not even with like her face or
Yeah,
anything like
no,
that. And then he searches through the broken
For, like,
pieces
a
for
good
the perfect piece of glass.
He's like,
He's literally sifting it in.
Not that. There
Yeah,
it is.
there it is. There's my bitch.
Yep. Rennie sees visions of a young Jason in
So-
different forms throughout the ship. I mean,
I have questions.
this happens multiple times through
Yes,
the movie.
okay, but I have questions because the first time that she has a vision of Jason, it's in her cabin on the ship, right?
Right.
Not only does she see it, her dog fucking sees it.
Yeah.
So is it a vision,
Or is it?
or is it latent telekinetic powers, or clairvoyant
Telekinetic powers on her part or his part?
on her part, manifesting it because of the fear of what happened to her years ago?
Okay. Okay.
I know because I know at one point in time, Lar Parlinkin was bucking to come back as Tina, and the studio scrapped that idea. Actually, I think
Tina!
I think it was
Every time somebody says Tina, I made her laugh. Tina! Let me eat your brains! I'll never stop. I'll never stop.
Can't stop. But no, not only she was working on a sequel script to VII.
Okay.
The writer-director for VII was working on one. John Spiratus, I think, the guy that played Nick in VII, was also working on one, and they were all rejected by the studio in favor of this. They were still actually also trying to get the Freddy vs. Jason thing worked out with this one too, and that still didn't work out.
No.
But yeah, she has that vision, and I don't know if it's actually a vision or if it's like latent clairvoyant powers that she has. You know?
I don't know.
Because it happens.
Because it does happen multiple times, and he looks different in the visions too.
He progressively gets more and more mongoloid form.
Right.
Is what it is. Because he starts off looking like a normal child, and then like the more she sees him, the more deformed that he looks in the face, at least.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finish. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're totally fine. So Jason kills Admiral Robertson and his first mate Jim, Rennie's boyfriend, and Captain Robertson's son Sean. Admiral Robinson's. Yeah.
Captain Sean.
Yes, Captain. Yeah. Discover all these bodies and tell the others before calling for an emergency.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the Coast Guard should have done long before anything else happened. Really.
You're all gonna die.
I say we regroup and let's go find this motherfucker before he finds us, huh?
Ava finds Tamara's body and flees, because that's what one does in a horror film. Jason chases Ava into the disco room where he strangles a victim for the first time. This is the first strangulation Jason has ever done. Strangles her to death by lifting her up off the floor and putting her to the ceiling, and I think we actually hear like a break. Like a
and then she like
something.
slumps. That actress, I gotta give her that.
Yeah,
she did a good job.
Kelly Hu. Is
that her name?
Yeah,
Okay.
was, and I only know this because she's gone on to do other things.
Okay.
But I know her and everything like that. Yeah, it was very hard for her to fall as limp as she could.
Yeah. She did a damn good job.
Kane instructed her on how to do it properly.
Of course he did.
because
Of course he did.
Kane is that type of perfectionist.
Yes.
Actually, the scene was left over from the original script that the vast majority of it was supposed to take place in Manhattan.
Okay.
And it was supposed
was
to
that
be
supposed to be like in a club?
It was supposed to be in a club.
Okay, gotcha.
But budgetary restraints allowed them to only film like the last 30. It's literally the last 30 minutes of it. It takes place in New York.
yeah, because this movie's basically Jason on a boat.
Yeah,
I'm on a boat
Mhm.
with my flippy.
Yeah.
What?
But yeah, and he drops her to the floor. The students agree to search for Jason while McCulloch decides that the deckhand is the one responsible.
Mm-hmm. That poor deckhand.
However,
The deckhand is then found with an axe in his back.
well, he stumbles into frame, complaining, and
with a knife.
right, he stumbles into frame with a knife, but the fire axe is in his back.
Yeah.
However, he was also supposed to be a nod to Crazy Ralph from the first one because he was
Right. He
the
was
very
kind of the
first
harbinger.
the very first scene that he was in the film. He said this boat is doomed.
Yeah. Yeah.
This voyage is doomed. He's come back. And you're all gonna die.
You're all doomed. Jason then tosses Miles, one of the students, into the radio transmitter tower to his death. And Julius is knocked overboard. Not killed, just knocked overboard. In the hold of the ship, Wayne comes upon JJ's body and is thrown into an electrical box by Jason.
Yeah.
Because Jason just, like, transports all over this place, like, boom, 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 boom.
Right. Yep.
Jason
Wayne's
is
corpse
everywhere.
catches fire and causes the ship to take on water. With the other students that were left in the disco room seemingly dead, McCulloch, Van Dusen, Rennie, and Sean escape aboard a life raft and discover that Toby and Julius are still alive as well. The five of them then proceed to row their happy asses away from the Lazarus to New York.
Yeah. And the Lazarus, like, sinks behind them, right? Like, everybody that was left on there, if they weren't dead, they are now.
There was a death in here that we didn't talk about, and that was that one where the guy was climbing in the crow's nest.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Jason, like, he literally, like, the guy was running from Jason, and he runs around the ship, and then Jason immediately teleports right in front of him. And then he starts to climb this crow's nest thing, and then Jason teleports up there like that.
Yeah, like he's
and
suddenly at the
literally
top
just
of it and
throws
just throws
down.
him off. Yeah. It's insane. Like, all
Nuts.
of the kills in this movie
Fucking
are pretty
nuts.
silly. So they row to, they're in this little dinghy. They row to New York City, where Jason stalks them through the streets.
I want to point out, too, like, after they get to New York, it's kind of a seedy area where they dock the dinghy.
They, like, show
right?
people doing drugs in the alleys
Right,
and
right,
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
But, like, after they dock, right, like, seconds after they dock and walk away, Jason climbs up out of the fucking water.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
His ass swam
Yeah.
from the Lazarus to the thing. He gets up, and this is one of my favorite shots in this entire fucking film, and I love it, and it's hilarious.
It
in
is really, really funny.
Every
Every
way. He gets up, and he looks up, and he cocks his head like a little dog would, because he sees his face, the hockey mask.
On a giant billboard.
Which, if you look, there's like a Canadian maple leaf.
Oh, really?
Because, well, yeah.
Canada. Yeah.
He's in Canada.
That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a really
I had
funny
to
scene,
point that
though.
out because
It is
I
so
love
funny.
it. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite scenes.
Rennie is then kidnapped by Holmes and JoJo. Apparently,
I didn't even know they had fucking names.
Yeah,
honestly.
apparently they do. And they try to shoot her up.
They did.
They do shoot her up.
I don't know with what, because the shit was fucking green.
Yeah, it was icky looking.
Yep. Julius then, the group split up to try to find her. And Julius actually runs off after her.
Yeah.
And he ends up coming across Jason, where he goes toe-to-toe with Jason, throwing, and I quote, I kid you not, 59 punches over the course of 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah, that was bonkers.
Now, Kane was wearing padding that entire time, but to make the scene look as real as possible, Kane told the actor that was playing Julius,
Like,
just
actually
fucking
hit
hit
me.
me. Just lay into me. So, like, the exhaustion that you see on Julius's face after that minute and 10
Yeah,
seconds.
because he was actually throwing punches and kicks. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
To which Jason then retorts after all of this barrage of fists of fury and stuff like that with
Take your best shot. Motherfucker.
one daft blow, uppercut, knocking Julius's head clean off his shoulders for a dunk in the dumpster below.
Yep. I think that scene is so funny.
But there's no fucking blood, though.
No. Well, no. Because
None.
the MPAA made him take it
I
out.
know, but that's not plausible.
I know. We know that. Rennie escapes again from Jason, but it's only because he comes up and kills the two punks that had her basically, like, kidnapped and held down. She runs off to Sean, and they reunite with the teachers and the NYPD before Jason kills the officer who is helping them.
I find it a tall tale indeed, but you seem like honest folks, so I'm inclined to believe at least some of what you say.
And somehow apparently had time to grab Julius's head out of the dumpster and place it on the shotgun in the cop car.
Yeah.
Also, Rennie climbs from the back seat of a New York City cop car into the front seat to drive said cop car. Where the fuck was the cage at? Even in small towns, there's a cage or glass or something. Separating the back seat from the front seat.
Yep. It's a safety
And this is
issue.
fucking New York.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. Rennie then proceeds to crash said police car after a vision of Jason distracts her. Yes, she's still having those visions. Van Dusen is incinerated in the car when it explodes, and it is revealed that McCulloch is responsible for Rennie's fear of water, because apparently he threw her ass in the lake trying to teach her how to fucking swim, and at that particular point in time, she had the aquaphobia still, but she also had a vision of Jason pulling her under. Mm-hmm. Which is...
So she's had this telekinetic connection to Jason for a long time.
I don't know if it's telekinetic, clairvoyance,
Some kind
whatever.
of...
It's not explained. Poor writing. Very poor writing. They leave him behind, and Jason drowns his ass in a barrel of apparently toxic waste in a back alley.
Because that's how
What?
New York was in 1989, you guys.
What is this?
Didn't
The
you
Teenage
know?
Mutant Ninja Turtles? Are we gonna? Actually, it is kind of funny because in the opening credits, the montage that we get, which by the way is the first time the credits have changed in 8 fucking movies.
Yeah. We don't have
the black background with the white lettering popping up and the Henry Manfredini's score playing. No, it's a completely different composer for this film. Hate it. It just doesn't feel like a Friday film without Henry.
Hate it.
It doesn't feel like.
And
a Friday.
then here I am. I own the fucking vinyl of the soundtrack. Can we just talk about this for a quick second?
Can I finish what I was saying?
Yes. Finish what you were saying.
It
It is a totally different intro.
It's a totally different intro because they had an entirely different composer do it. So it's very 80s-esque.
Yeah.
But we have these shots of the locations that we're actually going to see the cast members run through New York.
Right.
Subway, the alleyways, the diner, and everything like that. But there's a shot of a barrel containing water. And I'm like, thinking to myself, man, this feels like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, and all of a sudden a rat pops up out of the water. I'm like, oh look, there's fucking Splinter!
Yeah, there's Splinter! That's hilarious.
Okay, the vinyl.
I gotta show off the vinyl, because this thing is really fucking cool. So...
It's cool, but I've never
listened to it, because let's be honest, the soundtrack's not that good. But this is pretty cool. I mean, like, watch this. Watch. Oh! Pretty cool, right? And, like, the vinyls themselves are beautiful. This one looks
you don't
like
need to pull them all the
toxic
way out.
waste,
Yeah.
you know? And the other one is bright pink. So pretty. But this is the coolest part. I mean, I just showed you the back, but this fucking drawing, you guys.
Upside down.
Oh, we are. Sorry, I got all turned around because I took the front part out. But yeah, this drawing. So freaking cool. The artwork is worth it to have the vinyl, even if you never play it.
Yeah, but I mean, I would not spend $40 on this.
Well, I didn't get it. Someone got it for me.
Yeah, and yeah.
Anyways,
it is cool.
It is very, very
cool.
cool.
Very cool.
And then, like, on the back, it shows Jason on the subway. Love it. Anyways, carrying on. So Jason chases Rennie and Sean into the subway, as we just showed.
Yeah, because apparently he had his Metro card to get on the fucking subway, because
exactly.
Not only did his ass teleport from the street to the fucking subway train, but he had to have got through, like, the turnstile and everything to get down there.
Yeah.
And where did they get the money, too, on top of that? Because they got robbed. second they got to New York, they all got robbed.
I don't know, maybe they jumped the
turnstile?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. I mean, I think if you're being chased by Jason, I would jump the turnstile.
I would too. I'm just plot holes.
Yes, agreed. Sean incapacitates Jason by pushing him into the third rail.
Not before pulling the emergency brake and sending his ass sliding backwards.
Right.
Which is not how the brake system works. It would slide forward.
Semantics. When Jason revives, he chases them through Times Square, and this is where we get the infamous scene where he lifts his mask to scare some punk-ass skinheads, and to a diner where Jason tosses a guy into a mirror.
Yes.
Yeah, this is where we actually get to see him in Manhattan.
Right. So, I love that scene, because he's, like, walking down Times Square, kicks, like, for no fucking reason, other than the fact that he was being an ass.
Right.
Kicks the stand that the punk's boombox was on.
You are dead meat!
And they're like, "You're gonna die, fool," or whatever, and he just turns around, lifts the mask up, and they're like, it's cool, and then just dip.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, that guy that he throws into the mirror in the diner.
You don't understand. There is a maniac trying to kill us. Welcome to New York.
That's Ken Krisinger. That guy did some of Kane's stunts in this film. He was, specifically, I know he was the one that got hit by the cop car.
Okay.
Why they didn't let Kane do them, I don't know. He didn't do all the stunts. Let me rephrase that.
Which is weird, because Kane is like, that's his background.
Right, so I don't understand why they didn't let Kane do the stunts. But Ken Krisinger, if you are familiar in the horror world, does actually go on to play Jason in probably one of the most iconic roles possible in Freddy vs. Jason. Which Kane was very pissed with.
I know. And pissed. I wasn't very happy when I found out that he wasn't playing him.
Me neither. I was like, who the fuck is this Ken Krisinger?
Right? Like,
but
no.
This was like 20 plus years ago, so I was not like deep diving into this horror world like I am now.
Yeah.
But I was like, who the fuck is this Ken Krisinger? You know? I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. And then into the sewers, where they encounter a worker. He warned
toxic waste, son. The sewer floods out with this stuff every night at midnight.
them that the sewers will be flooded with toxic waste at midnight, just like they do every night. That's what's happening in New York?
That's what happened. I mean, that explains a lot. That's how we got the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
With toxic sludge.
Pizza Rat. All those things, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, at midnight, Jason appears and kills the worker before knocking Sean unconscious, and it really does flood the fucking place with toxic waste.
Yeah, Rennie then throws a small vat of toxic waste into... What is up with this toxic waste?
I don't know.
Seriously, I don't fucking get it.
It's weird.
Right. But she throws a small little, like, it's like a paint bucket size, like, little vat into Jason's face, which instantly starts to melt him. She and Sean climb a ladder as Jason staggers after them. The sewers then proceed to flood with the toxic waste. And Jason is reminded of his childhood, drowning and vomits water.
This vomit scene is like 100% real. Cause Kane, being the badass motherfucker that he is, drank a bunch of water, like a lot of water, right before they started filming, and then was able to just regurgitate it on command.
That's fucking nuts.
That's real fucking nuts.
That's nuts and commitment to
I mean, like,
the bit. You
Alright,
know?
here's the thing. I got tummy troubles. We've talked about this before. I don't know if we talked about it on the camera.
I think we have.
Bitch got IBS. Yeah, and which stands for I be shitting. Anyways, no, so I have tummy troubles, and sometimes accompanied with the IBS comes along with vomiting.
Regurgitation.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think I could do that. I'm so comfortable with puking now that, like, I also had hyperemesis gravidarum, which is, like, basically 9 months of constant morning sickness from the time I woke up till the time I went to sleep. I was puking all the time. I lost 70 pounds while I was pregnant with my
That's not good.
son. Yes. So, like, I got real used to vomit. I could definitely do that. If you gave me like a jug of water and just like let me chug it, I could just.
I probably could too,
No problem.
but it would hurt so bad. I'd feel so squishy.
Yeah, I get
Sloshy
that.
and squishy.
Yeah. Oh, like when you drink a bunch of water and your belly's like.
Anyway, after that happens, and I cannot believe that he was able to do that, honestly. But
I can.
I mean, I can, but I can't, you know? But whatever. The wastewater does come in, overcomes Jason, washing his body away. When the water recedes, Rennie once again sees a vision of Jason as an unconscious child for the final time. Finally conquering her longtime fear, or so we assume.
Yeah.
We're led to believe that. Sean and Rennie return to the street, reuniting with Rennie's dog Toby in Times Square, but they play it like it could be Jason, though.
Yes.
Because she approaches something and then she stops dead in her track, and there's fear set in her eyes, and then the camera looks down and it's Toby. Yeah, her dog. Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
That is the end of the movie.
That's it.
Jason didn't take much in Manhattan.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And, you know, I just have to say, it's a bloody machete up for me. And y'all can judge me for that. Judge all you want. This movie holds a very special place in my heart. It was one of the first Jason movies that I saw.
Ironically enough, it was one of the first ones I saw too.
So
I was staying the night at a friend's house and I had to call my mom because I was scared.
It was one of the first ones I saw. I watched it with my cousin. We were probably 9. I mean, you know,
I was like 8, 9,
yeah.
right around there too.
So this came out in 89. I was born in 83. So I was 7 when it came out. So I definitely didn't see it like when it first came out. But it was one of the first Jason movies that I saw. So it holds a very special place in my heart. I also think it's pretty hilarious. There's some really funny kills. The teleportation of Jason.
So the biggest problem that I have with this is right before Jason throws the water out, he speaks for the first and only fucking time.
That's true. That's true.
He speaks and says, "No, mommy, don't let me drown," in a child's voice, no less.
Yeah.
Through this heavy prosthetic of fucked up mongoloid mutated toxic waste spew face.
Yeah.
And then Kane regurgitates the water.
Yeah.
I have a big problem with that. Big problem. Because
I don't
know
love this movie, but at the same time I'm like, nostalgia. I love it. Can't help it.
I get that, but the biggest is did it actually happen? Did he actually speak?
Yeah.
Was it a vision that Rennie was having?
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
What the fuck was with the visions or whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
You know. I actually do want to give this a bloody machete up as well because it is just over the top shenanigans.
Yes.
And it does. It hits me in the feels. It makes me feel like I'm back in the 80s. It is very 80s.
Yes. I love it.
Which is not
always a good thing.
Well, it's not plausible considering the fact that we established in the last film that last film was
should have taken place in like 92 or
99.
99. Oh yeah, because it's like 15 years later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet this very blatantly is like late 80s. We even hear that Jason drowned in the lake approximately 30 years ago. According to the timeline of the films, he drowned in 57. This very well puts it in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. We know that it takes place in 89 too because in the Times Square sequences, we actually see billboards and posters for 1989 Tim Burton's Batman.
Batman, yep, that's right. Yep.
So we know it's 89. We know that. But
Yeah,
yes, the
this
last
timeline's
film took
fucked
place
up.
in 99.
This timeline's fucked up.
Isn't most horror franchises
Especially
timelines?
big franchises.
So with that, we're going to send it not back to Camp Crystal Lake, but to New York. Get the fuck out of here.
And you know what? We don't get another Jason movie for like 4 years after that. Because
We actually
this one
we technically don't even get another Friday the 13th film.
Yeah, and really it's not even a Jason film.
No, it is. It is because Paramount, after this commercially failed in theaters, sold the rights to Jason as a character to New Line.
Right.
But retained the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise.
Right.
Which is why the next 2 films in the series are entitled
Jason
Jason
Goes
to
to
Hell,
Hell, and
Jason
Jason
X,
X.
and then the third one, which is the last one with like in this timeline, so
Right.
to speak, is Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah. And then we get the remake.
And we get
Right.
the remake in
Right.
2009 or
Yeah.
10, I think. I can't remember exactly which year.
Yes.
Well, if you...
I don't know what we're doing next.
I actually do. And if you're following along with the calendar
Oh, I think
of
I know.
what's opening in theaters next Friday, a film that has literally been almost 20 years in the making, I think.
Sorry, I'm like...
Yeah, I
making
don't
noise.
even know if you can hear me over that rattle. But yeah, we're going to be looking at the sequel to one of my favorite zombie films, honestly.
Absolutely.
Because they're technically not zombies.
No.
They're rage monsters.
Right.
But we are going back to the world of Danny Boyle with 28 Weeks Later, because next Friday, 28 years later, is opening in theaters.
So make sure you catch up. Watch 28 Weeks Later. Sorry, rewind. Watch 28 Days Later. Then watch 28 Weeks Later. Then watch our review. Then go to the movie theater and see 28 Years Later. It'll be a great Friday, you guys. Do it. Do it. Yep. Anyways, until next time, make sure you slash the subscribe button
Stab that like button.
and ring the grave bell so you don't get buried alive and you stay up to date on everything we're doing right here on the Tube of You.
Until next time, y'all, we will see you all
In
the afterlife.